The following is a presentation of the ForceCenter podcast feed.
As Obi-Wan Kenobi once said, hello there, and welcome to Databank Brawl, the podcast where we learn about Star Wars characters, discuss them, share our little feelings, and then make them fight for our amusement and yours. I am your host. My name is Joseph Scrimshaw. With me, as always, is Ken Napzok.
So happy to be here, sir. So happy to be here. It's always a thrill to see where we'll take the deaths in Star Wars.
Yeah, and there's going to be a lot at stake in this one. It's a very sensitive one, I think. That's my opinion. It's very deadly, very sensitive.
Very sensitive.
Yeah, so I tried to put together a little bit of a special episode that had a little bit of a Halloween vibe. I believe last year we did Mother Talzin and Sifo Dyas, I believe. Yes. I don't remember all of our episodes.
We've been doing this a few years now.
It's been a little while. It's episode 126.
Yes.
That's a lot.
Yes.
Anyway, we also want to start adding here on Databank Brawl a little bit of a mention about our Audible deal, because it really directly helps us out, helps keep the whole podcast going. So I'm going to say the things that you often hear Ken say on the main show. Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. You can get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/ForceCenter. There are over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. That's a lot of titles to choose from. This is Databank Brawl, so I want to recommend something with a lot of fighting in it, and I will say Rebel Rising. Rebel Rising has some good brawling in it, don't you think, Ken?
It's got some of the best brawling in Star Wars, especially in book form.
In book form brawl.
And questionable violence, you know?
Yeah. So it really feels like listening to a much smarter version of Databank Brawl to listen to Rebel Rising. And it's canon. So if you are interested, go check that out. Download your free audiobook today. Go to audibletrial.com/ForceCenter. Again, that's audibletrial.com/ForceCenter for your free audiobook, and it helps us out. Anyway, with that said, are you ready for your first combatant?
I am ready, sir. I've got Wikipedia up, and I don't know what you're tossing my way.
Okay. Like I said, I wanted to have a little bit of a Halloween feel. There are certainly creepy characters in Star Wars. Mm-hmm. We've done a lot of the creepy characters in Star Wars, so I decided to go a little bit more for the monster feel.
Ooh.
So our first combatant is the Zillo Beast.
The moment you said it, I knew.
It's been a long time coming. Many people have requested the Zillo Beast. Here's what the StarWars.com databank has to say.
Mm-hmm.
An ancient creature accidentally unearthed on Malastare during an intense battle of the Clone Wars, the Zillo Beast was a monster of legend. The enormous animal proved to be nearly invulnerable to Republic weaponry, prompting intense interest from Chancellor Palpatine. At his order, the creature was incapacitated and transported to a supposedly secure research facility on Coruscant. The Zillo Beast would not be caged, however, and it broke free from its restraints, running wild through the crowded thoroughfares of the capital, leaving swaths of destruction in the wake of its titanic rampage. Someone had fun writing that entry.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, get some good Zillo Beast action.
We do have some.
Yeah, so for people who haven't watched Clone Wars, it's Space Godzilla, King Kong, that kind of story in Star Wars.
I was going to say a lot of Kong in there, too, yeah. Yes, so, all right, I do have a lot of stats.
Oh, you got a lot going on.
More stats than some of the characters we want stats for.
Okay, for the Wikipedia entry for Zillo Beast tells us what?
Well, semi-sentient, so I guess it kind of knows what it's doing.
Yeah.
Average height, 97 meters. That is 318 feet. 318 feet
tall. Then?
But then my question is that tail to head tall if it stands on 2 feet?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Its tail has spikes, so...
But I guess it doesn't matter because they also list the length at 97 meters.
Okay. Okay, fair enough.
So I think maybe it's like 4 feet tall, but 318 feet wide. Average mass, 60,000 metric tons.
That's a lot.
Skin color, brown and tan. I don't know if that's just this one or what do we got. Eye color, green. Homeworld Malastare, like you said. And the members, unidentified Zillo Beast.
They don't have an affiliation.
We need to identify this one.
They're not in the Scoundrels Union.
Yeah. And the appearance, at least the picture I'm looking at here, wow, I mean, how do you describe it? Dragon, iguana, like when I'm talking like Game of Thrones, Daenerys Targaryen's riding this dragon, and it also looks like a lizard at your house. Big tail, like almost like a Stegosaurus-like tail.
Stego tail. Yeah, it's got big old spikes coming out of it.
Yes. 3 fingers on its feet.
Yeah.
4 feet, of course. 4 separate feet.
Big mouth with nice chomping jar.
Yeah.
It looks like the kind of thing you'd have to fight if you're playing Legend of Zelda, maybe.
Absolutely. We're trying to take over Westeros because that head, I'm looking at this particular picture. There's this one photo, maybe there's other. It looks so much like Drogon or any other Viserion, excuse me.
Yeah.
So
a creepy thing about it is it's that thing coming out of its back. It's got the tail with the spikes, but the thing coming out of its back is a third arm.
Is it?
Yeah, it's got little fingers.
Let me click on that.
It's just got an arm growing out of its back.
It does have a little tiny arm.
Because just like, screw you, evolution. I want an arm on my back.
I want an arm. Oh, wow, that's more freaky. And yeah, it's almost got like a scaly cape on its arms up there, too.
Wow, that's a terrifying one.
Yeah.
Jeez, look at this one. Look at it. It's like doing a dance. It's
okay, terrifying. That is definitely. And it looks a little bit, too, like something that would be in Stranger Things in the Upside Down.
Oh, yeah, for sure. The Zillo Beast is definitely from the Star Wars Upside Down.
Yeah.
And those big, haunting green eyes. All green. Everything's green. It's all green.
A lot of green.
Yeah, pupils, iris, all green all the time.
Interesting.
There's nothing else in there except for that one appearance, right?
Yeah, so this is the 2 episodes, Zillo Beast and the Zillo Beast Strikes Back. First, like this note here. Zillo Beast appeared in these episodes, blah, blah, blah. Star Wars creator George Lucas felt the Zillo Beast would dislike Palpatine and chase him. Filoni joked with Lucas that the Zillo Beast could sense Palpatine was a Sith Lord and actually try to warn the Coruscanti. Okay. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah. The narrative is, as I recall, the Chancellor, that Palpatine is torturing the creature. So the creature is sort of like, this is the asshole who's trying to burn through my armored flesh.
Yep. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
How do you feel about the Zillo Beast?
We talk often about Star Wars bending genres in small ways, and we want the westerns, we want the horror movies, we want a Star Wars rom-com, and I think this Zillo Beast is an example of that, and it's its own separate little arc. It makes sense. It's not completely crazy that they'd unearth this, kind of creature that Palpatine or anyone for that matter would want to study it. Like it all syncs up for me. So as crazy as this could be, a space Godzilla running around Coruscant, all right, I'm on board.
Yeah. I love these episodes. I talk about the B-movie inspirations, and this is so that intersection, that specific intersection, that it is really a mashup of, it's a Godzilla-looking creature with the King Kong story. You find something that should clearly be left alone, that is not inherently evil, and then you take it out of its domain, you torture it, you endanger everyone who's near it.
Right.
It's just so King Kong, and it's really, really cool. And also just a great way to show Palpatine's evil as a Sith Lord, but also like as a slimy politician. We're just like, wow, I think this is the best, that if we can figure out how that armor works, that would be great. So let's just endanger all of Coruscant. And the nice flavor of like the big monster that everybody misunderstands sees the truth.
Right.
And he's like, yeah, okay, Palpatine tortured him, but I like that idea of like, no, that little MFer, I'm going to eat him.
Yeah.
I'm going to grab him with my third backhand and eat him. So cool.
Well, I don't know how we're going to take down the Zillo Beast.
I don't know, but there's only one character that I think has any chance. I scoured the StarWars.com databank, and I have thought a lot over the years of doing this podcast, who could go up against the Zillo Beast? And I feel the answer is clear. Our second combatant is the Sarlacc.
Oh. Oh, my.
Here's what the StarWars.com databank has to say. The Sarlacc rests in the sandy well known as the Great Pit of Carcoon, buried, except for its massive mouth and beaked tongue. The strange beast's lair was the site of many spectacles for Jabba the Hutt, who entertained himself by forcing prisoners into the creature's gaping, tentacled maw. See, we'll get into it, but there's just the basics is we tend to think of the Sarlacc as a place.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not a place.
No.
It's a person. Person, maybe using that word a little liberally, but it's a sentient, or at least semi-sentient.
At least semi.
Like the Zillo Beast.
Yeah.
It's alive. It's alive.
So it's so funny. I somehow, you know how you do as a Star Wars fan. You're on Wikipedia. You click on one thing. Next thing you know, you're in the wilds of Google or something. And I saw just like they have the Star Wars books of inside the spaceships and all that kind of stuff. It was like one of the Sarlacc, and it was pretty impressive to see the many layers of this monster and what it looks like buried in the sand.
Yeah.
The Great Pit of Carcoon.
I think I'm seeing this.
Is that the one here?
The Sarlacc diagram?
That's the one.
That is
the one.
Deeply disturbing.
It's very disturbing.
Yeah.
Because basically it burrows in there. Its mouth is, it eats through the sand dune or whatever it does to get its mouth there. And then it just stays there.
It's just chilling. And it's creepy. Its organ cavities make it look like it's got a skull for a whole body system. Man.
It goes deep down there. So the specs we got here, average height 3 meters, 10 feet wide is what it's saying. Average length 100 meters, 328 feet. So that is let's just say it's 328 feet down into the sand there.
Okay. So deep.
The skin color, the skin color of tentacles, tan. Distinctions, tentacles, and a beak. So we have that version from the special editions with George Lucas. According to this entry here, says George Lucas added the revised beak, tongue, and extra tentacles because he felt the creature never seemed alive in the original film. And I actually understand that. I don't like the Feed Me Seymour version of the Sarlacc.
Yeah.
But I understand George looking at that. It growing up, you didn't think of it as a monster. It's just a toothy hole in the sand.
It was a toothy hole. Yeah. So it's interesting to see it described as a beaked tongue. Mm-hmm. Because I've always thought of it as a little head thing. But that's a Sarlacc's tongue is a beak.
With the mouth.
So how does that that system work of something goes in your tongue and then it comes out of your tongue back into the rest of your digestive system?
Got to tell you, I am really happy that my tongue does not have a mouth on it.
This is good. I think humans, great number of mouths. Good decision.
You know what's even more freaky is that version that we've been seeing of the anatomy of the Sarlacc, but the one not cut away?
Yeah, the one that just looks like it could be come to a party and go dancing. Yeah, that's really... Yeah, that's a Lovecraft creature for sure.
Very much so, very much so.
And I don't know when this is from. Mm-hmm. This looks, that diagram looks like it's from one of the sort of DK books. Yeah,
it definitely does. It definitely does. I'm trying to track that down here a little bit, but if you out there listening, wow, what am I reading? Deadly Tongue. Yeah, this is fascinating. It does look like it.
Yeah. So who knows if it's canon or not, but we can certainly imagine that there is a beast under there, and that's what the actual databank does say. Yeah. It's buried.
Has burrowed and buried itself?
It's burrowed and buried.
Yeah.
It's buried except for its massive mouth and beaked tongue.
Yeah.
Man.
It looks like a crazy weed in your garden.
It's with a big mouth and a beaked tongue. Do your gardening so you don't get one of those.
Yes.
Really, kids, it's a lesson. It's a morality tale. Don't get one of these. Let's talk about our feelings about the Sarlacc.
I grew up wonderfully terrified by it, right?
Yeah.
I think that's the first movie I see in the theater that I remember, and 3PO describing it really sets this up for what, the fear that you're going to have. The digesting for 1,000 years. And so even without the beak or the beak tongue, it's pretty, as a kid, it's terrifying in a wonderful Star Wars way. I was scared of the Rancor. Being 7, seeing that thing come out, because that one's like in your face. It's moving.
Yeah.
Right? This one, you're thinking, well, if I could just not fall into this mouth, I'd be okay. Now, I grew up near, Pismo Beach, where we had sand dunes, and we'd go play on them.
Oh, yeah.
So I never thought that this was real, but in your head, you're like, just be careful going over the next dune. You don't know what's down there.
It could be a Sarlacc mouth.
Yeah.
There could be a beaked tongue over the next dune. Yeah, I've always loved the Sarlacc. As a kid, it took my imagination of just like, being digested for 1,000 years. Like, what does that mean? Are you preserved somehow so you can be in pain extra long? And this idea that if something stuck there, and it just, when you're a kid, you're playing action figures, I lived in Portland, Oregon when Mount St. Helens blew up.
Wow.
So we played lava a lot because it was an actual consideration.
It was a training exercise.
Yeah. I mean, when you've had to, I had to wear a mask because of the ash in the air.
Wow.
The doctor's mask.
We've never really talked about
No,
this.
it doesn't come up a lot.
You know how I love watching YouTube footage of news footage? I've watched the Mount St. Helens ones.
Really? I should watch that. There's the creepy story of the old man who lived on Mount St. Helens who didn't want to leave.
Right.
And he got covered in lava. So it had this sort of that great twist on a pirate walking the plank, or you have to jump from this safe space to this safe space, but like that death from below kind of classic trope with a really cool new twist. And of course, it is the scene where Luke Skywalker's like, oh, he is a Jedi.
Yeah, it might be like the most action Luke we get.
Yeah.
I mean, he's flying, he's fighting. The stuff with Vader's more emotional. But as a kid,
he's taking almost everybody out, and just the feeling of that of Lando and Han are just trying to get safely aboard the one skiff, and Luke's like, meanwhile, let me take out everyone. So the whole scene, but the Sarlacc itself and the beak tongue doesn't bother me. We've talked about this before. It's so weird and passive to just be like, I'm a monster with my open mouth. Just anybody, who wouldn't? Jabba uses it for entertainment, but why wouldn't anybody just be like, I got to get rid of a body? Or my evaporator broke and I don't know how to recycle it. I'll throw it in the Sarlacc.
The Sarlacc.
I understand the aesthetic concerns with the beak, but there's just something that grosses me out about, a mouth with no agency. So I like that the beak tongue can choose I really want to eat Lando. I'll pass on this weak way, but I want to eat Lando,
Oh, by the way, I'm reading this chart here, and it says the only known survivor of the Sarlacc's actual digestive system was Boba Fett, so I can assume this one's not canon.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
All right.
Well, Boba Fett's armor is a known survivor now, right?
Yeah.
All right. So love the Sarlacc.
Okay.
This is going to be an interesting fight, right?
Yes.
So then, any further thoughts on the Sarlacc, or ready to get into it?
Ready to get into this fight.
Let's fight. As always, we like to decide when and where. Think we might have our where.
We might have the where indeed. I think I think that absolutely we've got to take this to the Great Pit of Carcoon.
Well, I should offer there's been in Clone Wars there's a relative of the Sarlacc.
There is.
In theory, I think there could be other Sarlaccs, but I want to go to the Sarlacc.
You want to go to
right?
I think it's good. Yeah, and there's one during the Resistance era, right? There's a little story here.
Yeah.
In the book, Join the Resistance. On the planet. They got it listed here. Vadron is the Sarlacc as well.
Okay.
But I like the Sarlacc.
Yeah, let's go to the Great Pit of Carcoon. Come on.
I love it.
Come on.
Yeah.
All right. And now it could be our same Zillo Beast that Zillo Beast allegedly died, right?
Right. But I like the idea that either that maybe that one they thought it was dead. I can't remember the end of that Zillo Beast episode.
I'm 99% sure. Continue your thoughts and I'll verify.
My thought is that they would take the Zillo Beast, load it up on a capital ship, and much like you just suggested, we've got to get rid of this. How do we get rid of this?
Oh, this is important. Yes. It was killed.
Okay.
using a powerful toxin. But it was then revealed that after the creature was killed, Palpatine ordered the Zillo Beast be cloned.
Right.
So I think this could be a clone too far that Palpatine did, and this could be a wild, like what happens to that Zillo Beast clone? Did it work?
I think this is the Zillo Beast.
With two eyes.
Two eyes. And same thing, it was like maybe a first generation, second generation clone, not working out.
Yep.
Like, get rid of it. Is there any place we can just dump a Zillo Beast we think's dead? Someone's like, I heard of a place.
Okay.
We gotta go Tatooine.
This is the Imperial scientist played by George Lucas.
Yes.
Based on that voice.
It's Lonnie Lucas.
Yeah, and I think this is in the era of the Empire at this point.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Yeah.
Maybe before the events of Return of the Jedi, because that would explode this particular Sarlacc, though we play around with canon. But I like it.
Yeah. Or it could be later, yeah.
Yeah, but I like what you're saying. I like what you're saying.
Yeah.
Before, leading up.
Yeah, because who knows? There's always options.
Yeah.
There's clones. Yeah. So I think that a special unit is dispatched.
Yeah.
Right? Star Destroyer. It lures into the atmosphere. And I think this is partially like they've been back and forth, the Empire and the Hutts.
Yeah.
And I think this is a little mention from Palpatine of like, look, Vader goes and barters with you or whatever, Jabba. But this is my galaxy.
Yes.
And if I want to dump a failed monster clone in your backyard, I will.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it.
So I think the Sarlacc is just hanging out, thinking Sarlacc thoughts.
Yeah.
When's Jabba going to come feed me?
It's been a while. Yeah.
Any dumb Jawas going to come by and try to get any machinery out of me? Anything? And suddenly, shadow of a Star Destroyer. Mm-hmm. It's the doors open.
The Sarlacc senses like shade, a little cold.
Yeah, exactly. And then launched.
Right.
No container around it at all.
No.
Just flapping limbs and tail and a long neck.
Yeah.
Hurtling. Where exactly does the Zillo Beast land?
It lands right on the top of the dunes where that lead to the maw.
White sand flying into the air.
Now, they, of course, believed that this Zillo Beast was dead, right? Is that, but
well, this is the clone.
The clone. Well,
and
I mean,
they realized it was just too, it just can't be controlled.
Can't be controlled. So it's knocked out, so to speak. So the fall wakes it up.
Oh, yeah. And I think the Zillo Beast turns and starts to take in its environment.
Yeah.
Now, here's an important question. Mm-hmm. How does the Sarlacc sense? Does the Sarlacc have eyes hidden anywhere that we can't see? Or is it like it feels the vibrations? Is it like a Daredevil?
Yes.
Or it has a different kind of sight?
I think it is see it again for the first time. I think it senses, it feels more than sees, and maybe the tentacles are part of this process too. Maybe that beaked tongue has an eye on it. I don't know. But I don't think the Sarlacc would, even if it had eyes, little dealy-dopper eyes pop up, it wouldn't know what to do with that. So I definitely it feels the vibrations of the presence.
Yeah, and I think it can sense how large it is. It's trying to get a sense from all of the reverberations through the sand of like, how many limbs, what? And I think the Zillo Beast stands up, shakes its head. And it is filled with just confusion. Mm-hmm. Zillo Beast, even the clone Zillo Beast, basically peaceful.
Yeah.
The Sarlacc senses a challenge. Like, this is like when you go to a restaurant that is entirely like their shtick is their famous sundae that nobody can eat. And if you do, you get like a discount in a song for a year. I think the Sarlacc's like, I accept the challenge.
If you eat 10 of these burger patties in one sitting, you'll die and win a coupon.
That's right. Have a free funeral on us. I think the Sarlacc thinks in its semi-sentient brain, like, could I eat that? I'm going to try to eat that.
Your Sarlacc's like Sweetums and Muppets. Hollywood. Yeah. Yes, Sarlacc is like, challenge accepted.
Yeah, so I think a tentacle whips out and wraps around one of the Zillo Beast limbs.
Yes.
What do you think happens next?
The Zillo Beast makes a sound not unlike Lando when it goes, "Ow!"
The official sound of being grabbed by a Sarlacc.
And it gets pulled down, but it's not, it's not Zillo Beast is heavy. This isn't an easy pull down. This isn't a weak way. So it's this little tug of war begins, and it's wrapped onto the tail or one of the. Where do you envision it? Tail.
Let's do a tail.
Maybe around one of the little horns on the little Stegosaurus tail.
Oh yes, it doesn't quite have a full grip, but
yes,
the Zillo Beast naturally is like rah and tries to grab the sand, right?
Yep,
but it's sand.
Sand,
and it's just like time. It's passing through the Zillo Beast's fingers.
As someone who's tried to climb up sand dunes many times in his youth, hard.
It's hard, right?
You're working overtime.
You can't get a purchase in there, right?
One of my favorite phrases. I cannot find purchase. Yes. So the Zillo Beast is slowly.
Yeah.
Frighteningly, I will say. This is not a comforting image.
This is a bad day for a Zillo Beast.
Falling down towards the maw.
Yeah, but the Zillo Beast is flexible, so it can whip its big head around and try to understand what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it sees a bunch of tentacles, rows of teeth, and a beaked tongue.
Right.
Snapping, right?
Comes out.
And I think the Zillo Beast decides to strike back. It can't swing its tail.
No.
It's nervous about getting too close, so I think it grabs up with its third arm a bunch of sand and throws that into the mouth to see what happens.
Yes, and that causes the tongue to slip back into the mouth there, kind of frack back in. Like, ugh.
Yeah, and I think then there's like this weird, gross, rumbling digestive noise, and then I think suddenly gushing back out is basically like sand vomit.
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah,
just going with what we know.
Just sand vomit.
Look, it burped when it ate Boba Fett.
Yeah, exactly. It's got functions.
It's a big digester.
It's got functions. How do you account for that in canon? The Sarlacc digestive system does not like armor. You
would think it ends up eating a lot of sand, but this is a big monster handful of sand. It had to vomit it out or it would choke.
It's direct sand.
In fact, I'm going to retcon this and say that a tentacle goes back down and it basically gives itself its gag reflex.
Okay, so the sand vomit wave hits the Zillo Beast square in the face.
Oh, does it? Oh, wow. This is terrible. It's wiping its eyes and trying to get them free of this disgusting mess. I think,
though, this distraction has worked and that the one tentacle is released from the tail. So now the Zillo Beast is free.
Yeah.
Which puts it into an interesting quandary.
Yeah.
This is problems. I could leave, but I'm aware of bad things. Do I stand and fight?
Yeah. I think the Zillo Beast, in its fear, doesn't quite understand that the Sarlacc is nested there.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the Zillo Beast
that's good.
takes a swing with its tail. It growls at the mouth and then does a big swing with those spikes. Where does it hit? Does it get the beak? Does it just hit the side, the row of teeth?
It hits the side of the left side. We'll call it, depending on how you're looking at it. It hits the sand dune, but also it starts almost like a construction site. Just starts to excavate a little bit.
Okay.
And it's able to get to a little bit of the top of the creature, which the top of the creature looks like just a big, like bulbous and infected root.
Yeah, I like this. So that big claw tail swipe kicks all that sand and it reveals some of the bulbous root. By
the way, I'm looking at this map. There's a built-in sand trap so that it doesn't swallow sand.
But, there you go.
But that's why.
It malfunctioned because it was so huge.
So much.
Yeah, even the sand trap couldn't handle it.
Yeah. They think of everything.
They really do.
Yeah.
So I think the Zillo Beast, a natural predator, has fought in ancient times on Malastare, fought other strange large beasts.
Yeah.
So I think it recognizes an opponent, an ancient foe.
Yeah.
And I think it roars its mouth open and tries to take a big bite out of that fleshy, formerly buried part of the Sarlacc.
Yes.
How does that go?
It's painful. I've never heard the Sarlacc scream. It makes noise because it burps, but I think it's like deep and guttural. And
yes,
the Zillo the Zillo Beast is so strong. I actually think it manages to dislodge the Sarlacc small amount.
Oh, wow.
We're not saying that this is going to yank it out of the ground, but it moves it.
Grabs and tears enough that it shifts a little bit.
So it doesn't necessarily rip through the flesh of the Sarlacc, and now you got a little, Sarlacc tender in your mouth. It dislodges it a little bit.
Oh, yeah. It's shifted. The Sarlacc has shifted for the first time in thousands of years. Thousands of years. Yeah.
Right.
And I think the Sarlacc retaliates by doing something that we didn't realize it could do. Those tentacles that hang out by its mouth have a wider range of movement.
Oh, yeah.
Than we would maybe think. Like, they were all splayed out trying to get everybody from every side.
Yeah.
But I think all of them kind of come together, all the tentacles, and come chopping at the back of the Zillo Beast. And the Zillo Beast's third hand catches this big bundle of tentacles.
Right.
And so now they're kind of having this, like, tug of war. It's like, kind of a tug of war, kind of an arm wrestling challenge, tentacle third back arm challenge.
This is over the top 2. Stallone's waiting in the wings right here. Yeah. So the Zillo Beast is I don't know. Zillo Beast, again, you can't find purchase. So I think it's losing this battle a little bit.
I think so, too. I think it's determined to hold on to this tentacle mass. But I think because of that, it's leaning its weight the wrong way.
Yes.
And much like I assume happens in the movie Over the Top, starring Sylvester Stallone, that able to just pull hard. And I think the Zillo Beast flips over onto the top of the main Sarlacc mouth.
Yeah.
I think that beaked tongue comes out and attempts to swallow the third arm.
Oh, yeah. I think that's absolutely what happens. And so now we got the situation where it's almost like a vacuum that has pulled in an item too big for the vacuum.
This is not good for anybody.
No, the Zillo Beast is being like yanked down, and so it's like now it's on top of the maw.
Yeah, so it's kind of choking
the Sarlacc.
Yeah,
so the Sarlacc's kind of like, again, this is like when I take a too big bite of my sausage croissant in the morning and kind of choke on it, but I'm still going to take the next bite. It's still trying to yank down, and because the Zillo Beast, if that pulling that third arm, the Zillo Beast, the only thing it can really do is put its 4 other legs with its 3 little fingers, talons, on the sand dune as best as possible.
Yeah, and it's kind of it's backwards, right?
It's upside down.
It's kind of it's it's thrashing its tail around. I think the tail's hitting, maybe knocks a tooth loose from the maw. That's gonna hurt.
That's angering it.
Yeah, for sure. But the Sarlacc, I think, realizes, okay, I need to take this like at least a limited time.
Right.
So I think the Sarlacc makes the dangerous choice of the beaked tongue, tries to sever the Zillo Beast arm. And from what we know of Zillo armor, that's not going to go well, right?
Not going to happen at all. So what it does is it bites down with the little beaked tongue, and it actually severely dislodges the jaw.
Oh, gosh.
So it's a little uneven, and then the Sarlacc, so it still has a little bit of biting power, but now it's not like a broken jaw hanging off graphically. It's just like it's out of alignment.
Yeah.
It needs dental work.
So the Sarlacc has TMJ.
Yes.
So the Sarlacc releases its grip grip on that third back arm. So the Zillo Beast manages to pull it out. In the tentacles, it's kind of funny. The tentacles move over to the beaked tongue and do a little
adjustment.
They adjust a little bit. And look, the Zillo Beast is not going to politely wait for this to happen, right? The Zillo Beast is going to strike.
The Zillo Beast
That's what it does.
It's trying to strike, but first because it's on its back there, and it's trying to. Have you ever tried to crawl out of a beanbag chair?
Right.
The Zillo Beast is like trying to get itself flipped over off the sand dune. It kind of half manages it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I think it manages to just flip over just as the Sarlacc gets the jaw back in alignment.
Yeah.
The Zillo Beast gets up with one hand, pummels the edges of the maw.
The Zillo Beast forms fists.
Yeah, and punches, and then
teeth are flying
everywhere. Yeah, the Zillo Beast isn't being harmed too bad, but then the Sarlacc senses this. The Sarlacc, you have to think, for something that just sits there, has to be aware of angles. You know, it's experienced, not this kind of fight before, but it's very aware of where people and things are. Yeah,
right.
So I think it times it just right. So it, the one of the fists pummeling down, the beaked tongue tries again and just swallows.
Oh wow!
Swallows the arm.
This is like a National Geographic documentary.
It really is.
Mongoose versus lion.
And I think now that it has had time, it tried once to bite and realizes what I need is more of my super powerful corrosive gut acid.
Right.
So I think it tries to swallow that. It swallows that Zillo Beast arm so much that it makes itself just spit volumes and volumes of acid.
We got a lot of vomit in this one here today.
It's acid.
It's acid. Well, I guess what throw up would be anyways. But yes, buckets of it.
Buckets. I think suddenly...
It's our most disgusting Databank Brawl ever, and I love it.
It begins to dissolve the Zillo armor. This is one of the few things in the galaxy that can dissolve Zillo Beast armor is Sarlacc digestive juices.
What you're telling me is this 1,000-year digestive process is being sped up.
That's right.
Because of the amount being vomited back up.
That is correct.
Wow.
Yeah.
Someone needs to put that in a Star Wars book as canon. Yes, the acid's melting away on the Zillo Beast.
Do you think that the Sarlacc manages to bite that arm off?
It does.
Oh, the Zillo Beast roars and bangs.
Why stop here? Yes. Now, as the Sarlacc's swallowing the arm, Zillo Beast has to decide, I guess. What's my next attack? What do I do? How do I get in this position? Zillo Beast's blood is pouring down the sand.
Oh, yeah, and that's acidic, too. It's not good. It's burning the Sarlacc a little bit.
I would avoid this area for a while if you live locally.
Yeah, I don't know why, but the blood's purple. It just is.
I love that.
Eyes are green, blood is purple. That's just the way it goes.
Yes, very royal.
Very royal. I think this is a good place to pause in our combat, as we do, and decide who we want to win, who deserves to win, who's the better, tougher fighter. Yeah. This is a hard one. What are your feelings?
I have grown to feel sorry for the Zillo Beast because it didn't deserve to be here. I have always felt the Sarlacc is wonderfully frightening but kind of disgusting, so that I just kind of don't like it. I do like it as a Star Wars fan. I don't want the Zillo Beast to die, but it's definitely not winning. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does the Zillo Beast choose to walk away? Mm-hmm. Here's what I think maybe happens.
Okay.
I think that the Zillo Beast is enraged, and we certainly saw when it was hurt by Palpatine that it then doesn't give up.
Right.
So I think this is a titanic clash of two beasts that don't need to fight.
Right.
The Sarlacc doesn't need to eat the Zillo Beast.
It's got a meal already. Got an arm.
The Zillo Beast still has two arms.
Yeah.
It could leave. It could see if some young, friendly farm kid, some moisture farmer, wants to adopt a cool-ass dragon and be best friends.
Can we keep it? Can we keep it? Can we keep it?
Can we keep it? Can we? It could go, be adopted by a Krayt dragon.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be nice.
Yeah, wouldn't it be? It has lots of nice potential lives out there, but it is blinded with rage.
It is.
And so I think it lashes out.
Yeah.
My general thought is the Zillo Beast over time could win, because ultimately it's a disadvantage to not be able to move. Your gigantic underground body.
Yeah.
But I think that maybe they're going to clash at each other and fight to a standstill.
Okay.
That's my general thought.
I like that.
That this is maybe...
This might be a push, is what you're saying?
Maybe a tie, maybe up for interpretation.
Okay. Yeah, I think the Zillo Beast charges back again, has a chance to leave. Could have been with, like, I love a Krayt dragon adopting it. Like one of those videos some of your relatives share on Facebook. Look at this cat raised this alligator.
Yeah, and who knows?
Yeah. So, yes, I think the Zillo Beast races back down, takes its tail with the Stegosaurus little horns there, and just whips it just repeatedly back down.
Yeah.
On the maw.
Yeah.
Again, more teeth. A tentacle or two gets severed.
Yeah. Oh, and then in the Sarlacc is now like it's trying to severed that one point of the Zillo Beast armor.
Yeah.
But the arm is still like it's like, you have to eat the bone and the meat.
Oh, yeah.
It's getting the meat out and it's pretty delicious, but it's still got to swallow that whole
armor doesn't go down easy.
Yeah, it's rough, but the Sarlacc is like, it's worth it.
Yeah.
I can do this. I can eat the whole thing is what it's kind of thinking.
Yeah.
I can eat the whole thing. So the Zillo Beast is pounding away with its tail.
Yeah.
And seeing that suddenly that beaked tongue that bit its arm off is a little bit more reluctant.
Yes.
In the Zillo Beast sees an opportunity. Mm-hmm. With its one of its good arms, it grabs
the beak.
The beak. Yeah, in fact, like clamps it shut.
Oh, yeah.
Pulls it up. And then the Zillo Beast goes in for the base and tries to bite it apart. It's really gross.
It's like watching a 5-year-old eat a corn dog at a state fair.
Yeah. At this moment is a moment that anybody who despises that change in the special edition should be on their feet cheering, because the Zillo Beast is trying to do for you what you want to happen.
Zillo Beast is like, original version.
I'm going to really, really remove the special edition of this Sarlacc.
Well, I think it does.
Think it just bites it through, right?
The big clamp down. You hear a rumbling down below.
Yeah.
And it spits it off, like
it goes soaring, just flying through the air, tumbling. Mm-hmm. Oh man, that's going to be disgusting. So I think as somebody's flying into one of the most towns, Mos Eisley, and from far, I was like, what the hell is that?
What's going on? Don't go over
that's
there.
Gross. Is that? What is that?
Don't go over there.
Is that a beak tongue? All right. And I think in pain. Mm-hmm. Third time is the charm.
Yeah.
I think this is not even a choice now.
Comedy in threes.
Yeah, and I think this time the recently devoured victims of the Sarlacc are ejected from the new gaping hole. I think several Jawas, half dissolved in acid, at least one Tusken Raider, a moisture farmer,
a couple week way.
Yeah. Nobody knows the whole exact mystery of it, but how it happened. But Klieg Lars's leg comes up from way back in the day. Nobody knows
no one knows
how or why the Tusken Raiders took it off and then fed it to the but
all right.
and the nobody else knows that, but we the audience know.
Yeah,
like
a droid. There's like an astromech.
With
missing a leg.
Yeah, like another set of Mandalorian armor, like an ancient set of Mandalorian armor.
Yeah.
How'd that get in there?
Exactly.
Yeah,
some rally armor,
a moisture evaporator. Yep, lots of things in there. It all come flying up.
It's like taking a couch cushion.
But I think it is actually a strange defense move, right?
Yes.
Because all of these objects just rain into the Zillo Beast, right?
Yes.
And as we saw on the show, there is a little weakness between the chink of its armor. Mm-hmm. Do you think anything gets in there?
A broken down moisture evaporator goes in there. pointy end first.
Pointy end first.
Like a little dart.
Yeah.
And just wedges right into the nerves.
Wedges right in there, right?
Right in there. Right in there.
Right in there. And I think the Zillo Beast falls, stumbles back.
Yeah.
Right? The Jawas are still alive.
Yes.
Because that's how the digestive juices work, right?
They finally see their robes are gone.
Their robes are gone.
Yeah.
So the Zillo Beast is seeing what is truly underneath. And we can't even describe it. It's unspeakable, right?
We don't know, yeah.
These unspeakable little creatures.
Yeah.
Utini!
And they're like scrambling out.
Yeah, they're scrambling out. And I think the Zillo Beast collapses in pain, right? Mm-hmm. A little bit away from the Sarlacc.
Yeah.
And I think the Jawas see the biggest possible prize they've ever seen, right?
Right.
And I think that they realize that if they grab the evaporator at just the right angle, they can start to gently nudge this creature. And I think the Zillo Beast is writhing in pain. The tentacles of the Sarlacc are still flipping out, and even as it's being slowly, with the advantage of sand, gently dragged away, the Zillo Beast is lashing out with its spiked tail, and the tentacles in the tail are still... But I think they slowly, dramatically...
pull
apart.
Yeah.
In this stubborn, titanic battle.
Yeah.
Is ended.
Yes.
By these Jawas.
The Jawas saved the day?
Maybe. Yeah.
I don't
know. But I feel like that's the end of the combat, right?
Yes.
Got a lot of, the multiple post-credit scenes.
A lot of mess to clean up, yeah.
A lot of mess to clean up. The Sarlacc looks rough. Its tongue has been ripped out. It's missing a lot of teeth, a lot of tentacles. The sand all around is just boiling.
Boiling acid vomit.
Yeah.
Sand vomit.
It is extremely disturbing.
Yeah.
And I think a little bit more opened up to injury. So if there's another large explosion nearby, it's a little bit more pulled to the surface than it used to be.
Yes.
So a big explosion might rip it to shreds.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think the Zillo Beast. How far did the Jawas pull it away? Did they take it?
Tell me what you think happened.
I think they brought one of their sand crawlers, and
So one goes in?
One signals somehow.
Yeah.
And the sound crawler comes back. Takes about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
They get there, and then they tie the Zillo Beast to the back of the sand crawler, and they're trying to get it out. Not for any malicious reasons, but like, this would be nice to have.
Yeah.
Tusken Raiders wouldn't bother us if we had this around the camp. So I think they try to slowly pull it away, but by this time, Zillo Beast is recovered enough that they've attached to the evaporator. The evaporator comes loose. Now the Zillo Beast is up, and just kind of this Jawas and the Zillo Beast stare at each other, and they just kind of like, we're gonna go.
I think that there's this moment of tension where the Jawas are like, no, let's get out of here. And I think most of them turn and run to the sandcrawler.
Yeah.
One young, brave Jawa.
Yes.
It's got just a little snack, a little bit of meat that it's got in its little pouch, and it opens it up, and it just very casually, the smallest Jawa offers the smallest bit of meat to the Zillo Beast.
Yeah.
The Zillo Beast leans very, very close in, picks up with its one of its remaining arms that meat, and sniffs it, throws it down its gullet.
Yeah.
And I think a beautiful friendship is born that day.
It leans its head down, and the Jawa lightly pats its little nose.
That's right.
Yes.
It breathes. And the Jawa was rewarded for its bravery.
And that's the lesson in the galaxy.
Yeah.
Compassion and bravery.
Exactly. And I think myths spread throughout Tatooine of the Jawa and its dragon that are sometimes seen far in the distance.
The Jawa and the Dragon is a great Star Wars story yet to be told. I think we can get Sean Connery to the voice of the dragon, and I think we'll be great.
That is exactly right. And then somewhere back in the darkness, night has fallen, and there's just a really gross noise. A strange, straining noise echoes out as the Sarlacc regrows its beak tongue.
Just in time, too, because it hears the sounds of and he knows that the sail barge, the katana, is on its way.
He's like, finally, an easy meal. Little does the Sarlacc know. That is our Databank Brawl. So gross, so gross. Do you have any more cutscenes, or is that enough?
That's enough. The sail barge approaches.
Let's stop there.
Two skiffs at its side.
Two skiffs at its side. Before there's more vomit, we must stop. That was grosser and more exciting than I thought. But man, that's fun.
We took it to some spots.
Anything can fight here on Databank Brawl. If you have characters that you want to see fight, like the Zillo Beast, let us know with the hashtag Databank Brawl. Ken, where can people find you?
You can find me at Ken Napzok across all social media platforms, probably studying the anatomy of a Sarlacc.
Check it out. It's gross. We also want to say thank you because you got us to this goal that we've had for a while of getting to 500 ratings and reviews on iTunes. So next week, we're going to do a Databank Brawl with some major Star Wars characters. If you have opinions on who they might be, you can also let us know with the hashtag Databank Brawl. We also like to thank Tony Thaxton for our theme music. You can check out his Patreon at patreon.com/CloudCitySoundtrack. You can, of course, check out our Patreon at patreon.com/ForceCenter. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram as at Joseph Scrimshaw, and check out my albums, podcasts, and shows on my website at josephscrimshaw.com. You can like ForceCenter on Facebook and follow us on Twitter as at ForceCenterPod. And until next time, as Luke Skywalker once said, while no one was really listening to him, I care. That's it for Databank Brawl.